you said something about just thinking of like new ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I've had this cut copy, like same conversation with a bunch of other streamers that they're like, yeah, like what's like, how do you keep coming up with different ways of doing it? And I kind of really boil it down to just, it's really a formula for me at the end of the day, at least. And it's a formula that's like applicable to anyone. So like I can give you the formula, but as far as what you come up with and what you create will always 100% be totally whoever the person is that's doing it.
Yeah.
So that's why like I have no problem sharing that with people or anything like that.
Sure.
I just want content for the Souls community to just be as best as it can be and as creative as it can be. And it's like you're not really going to be stepping on anyone else's toes because it's all going to be unique to that individual. So pretty much what I do is like I kind of like just take a second, go into my mind palace, and I highly recommend. Number one is I assume you have a smartphone, right? Like an iPhone or something. Yeah. Okay. So that iPhone is capable of getting a Google Docs app. And do you use Google Docs at all?
No, like maybe you don't know my background, but I'm a programmer and designer, so. I use the terminal with text files and then write bash scripts all day long for stuff like that.
Perfect.
But as a concrete tool, I use Notion, I think.
Okay. Well, yeah. So basically, just anything that 24/7, it's a document where you can just bullet your ideas and things you think of. So the peasants like myself, we'd probably end up using Google Docs.
All right.
So yeah, it's really just as long as whether you're at your desktop or on your phone, like not near your desktop, you have an idea in the moment that comes to you, something that inspires you, and you can then write it down. So the idea is really that. Number one, you have a place where you can just jot your ideas down, and then the formula really boils down to asking yourself kind of what inspires you outside of Souls. If you can answer that question within Souls, great, but if you want to think outside the box, then you have to answer the question, what are your interests that aren't Souls related? So what are some TV shows that you're watching? Why do you like those TV shows? What are some things that you enjoyed as like a kid? So to kind of give you an idea, with our Protect the President event that we did with Stankyham back in January, he reached out. He's like, "Yo, like let's collab or something, do whatever," and I, being me, I was like, look, we're not just going to do like a Taunter's Tongue run or a, ganking at some certain spot. Like, that stuff's fun, but I'm like, I want to do it a little differently, because those things are being done. And I want to let other people do it because they'll probably do it better than us anyways. So, we were just kind of sitting there in a call, and I just kind of started with like my first principles. What are things that I like? And I start all the way from the beginning. And by that I mean like I was asking myself questions. I'm like, okay, so we want to do essentially we want to interact with each other. We want to play with each other. Okay, what does play mean? What was playing look like at what stage in your life? So I thought about recess in elementary school. I was like, what did I do on the playground with my friends? Why was that fun? And so
that's some deep shit, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Joe Woven experience.
Yeah, right. And I thought of like some games that we would do, whether that was like Foursquare, hopscotch, playing tetherball or something like that. Okay, what was like some like maybe more like hands-on games that we did? Okay, freeze tag, and then like my mind just kind of went to like keep away. Okay, what we did like keep away, and then how that kind of like branched off and kept evolving was what if we treated somebody kind of like a VIP of some sort, and then ultimately through just going beyond that, we ended up with Protect the President, where it was one of us just played a president, and then we had 2 assassins, 2 defenders, where they had to play both roles as the 3v3 in the arena, because the arena just dropped, because we wanted to utilize the arena, right? So, but yeah, that was like the idea of it, was that it was, I just pulled something out of like, I thought it was like a childhood game. It was fun. But that's also, again, that was just one idea, Then, like Red Ronin Z came up and he's like, yo, let's do something together. But sadly, you're on PlayStation, or I'm on PC, he's on PlayStation, like, yo, what could we do?
Yeah.
And my cousin, I just noticed in passing that Red Ronin Z likes to mention that he does these cosplay characters where they're D&D related or like anime related. I've played one campaign of D&D. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm not really a D&D guy.
Yeah.
I didn't really have too much fun with it, but I was like, he wants to do something together. So I was like, okay, this is a subject that you're interested and fascinated in, and okay, how could we maybe bring something like that into Elden Ring? And then the D&D idea, and then we just jumped on. We created all these crazy rules using the Elden Ring setting and game, and storytelling of that, and then of course added our own like interesting twists and whatnot. And we even like came up with the D&D fight system where it's turn-based, and we have this roll function in chat, and like if it's a 1 through 5, they miss their attack, and it's
Nice.
fun stuff like that.
You told that last time, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's cool,
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. You go.
No. I was like, I could like sit here and listen hours to you montage, just trying to see like in what direction I want to steer the conversation, because this is like super interesting right now. Maybe hi to chat, everyone. So like for those that don't know, Montage did a Thunderstorm run, but with like a D&D component, and he's gonna like publish a video of the highlights of that. And I'm currently thinking of like ways to do new stuff myself, and Montage was just like telling me how the process works, or like how he sees the process. And I think it's at least like, sorry if I'm like too derailing this conversation. Again, I'm a bit high, so already sorry if we do like circles.
You're good.
No. But I was thinking like the thing you said, right? Figure out something that you enjoy the most, and then bring that into like Elden Ring in any way possible. And I've been talking about it before, but one thing I really love is like just programming in general, and then like just trying to make something fun with code. And one thing I did in the past, I'm not sure if you ever saw that, but maybe it's a good like time to advertise this. Let me show you.
Yep.
All right. So like back in the day when I learned to hard swap, I was like, hey, wouldn't it be fun to just like have a tool that tells you to which weapon you have to swap to during an invasion? And then you can like set the timer at which it says, now you have to switch to another weapon, now to another. And I actually took that and made an application out of that. So you can like have just a list of all of the weapons that you have in your inventory, right? And then you can say, okay, like between like 50 seconds and like 100 seconds, tell me to swap to a specific weapon, right? So and it will also read you like the weapon name out on screen if you have volume enabled, and then you basically invade, and after a certain amount of time you have to switch your weapon, right? And that's a way for you to train how to hard swap during invasions, and B, forcing you to play with some sort of randomness within your invasions. Of course, you could like on PC you could probably mod that too. It will swap it automatically for you with macros, but here you're actually forced on PlayStation at least to swap yourself, right? And to come back to the point as you talked about is that like I really love like geek stuff like that, combine it with Elden Ring and make something new out of it, or just like something people can use. So another thing I'm working on is I'm just running through the game, and I want to make a checklist style that they had in Dark Souls 3, instead of like just a huge wiki with everything, right? I want to be able to like just start the game and then go to one location, and then the second, then the third, and then will like at one point give me a completed character without me having to search and dig too hard on how to approach this, right? So yeah, that's
Dude, this is so cool.
As you see, like now it just says Stormhawk, so I would like in theory have to swap to a Stormhawk axe, which I don't have currently, and then just fight with that one Stormhawk axe until I get another weapon, right? And I have some old videos on YouTube if you're interested in this, like a hard swap bot 3000 or something, where I'm actually doing invasions and you can hear every time I need to switch the weapon. And you get really funny situations where you're like just running around with a bow and arrow or just with one dagger, and you're like, oh, give me something that actually rocks, that's actually good, you know, like a meta weapon. And then you get the meta weapon, and you're like, okay, now I have to go in all super hard because otherwise I would get a shit weapon again. So yeah, that's...
Bro, I think for streaming specifically, that's such a huge buff that you're specifically into like coding and tech shit, because if you use programs like Mix It Up, are you familiar with that? Do you use that?
No.
Okay. So Mix It Up is a program. It does a lot of things, but one of the, like, are you familiar with my stream, like the snipe feature where
Yes,
someone redeems
yes.
channel points, right?
Of course.
And this thing just comes on. Yeah.
Of course.
So
Who isn't?
yeah. Right. So basically what Mix It Up allows you to do is it allows your chat to put in commands that can then do things like, you know, obviously you give it permission to do whatever you want, but like a permission example that you can do is let it access any file on your computer, or press keys on your... so yeah, if you want like a redemption point, that Alt F4 is your, you know, well, I guess you're on PlayStation, but Alt F4 is like, you know, your game or whatever, or like it could probably close your PlayStation game if I'd imagine, but you can do stuff, interactive stuff like that.
Yeah,
so if you know how to code, you can definitely do some interesting things with involving your chat.
Yeah, for sure. Like one thing that would come to mind is like some home automation. So not just have it like limited to the computer, but maybe have like a grandfather's clock with a fucking bird in there, and then one redeem is like grandfather clock, and then the bird comes out and much beep 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 beep, something like that people then can actually see that they're having an impact on like, where I actually am living, right?
Yeah. Now that like I made it, I got like my first 9-to-5 big boy job and all that bullshit, and then I ended up quitting that, started my own business like in 2021. Now been on my own, have my own house and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? That whole content creator, YouTuber, streamer thing that I always wanted to do, I'm doing that again. Now that like no one is in position to tell me what to do with my life, it is just me. I'm like, you know what? I'm not really like looking for, you know, anyone. I have a lot of time to focus on myself, and so I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing that thing where I'm like, do this, and now I get to do it, which is fucking awesome. And it's like every single day that I've been pushed live, I'm just like, man, I fucking miss doing this. Been like a 10-year like itch that I've been scratching.
Sorry, gotta think here.
Mods ban Eder time for being Eder time.
No. Do we have mods in here? I don't think so.
Mod me, I'll put him in his place.
Ooh, easy there. Oh yeah, I can mod you. That's true.
No, don't, because it'll go to my head.
Why?
The only person that has
Why?
me modded in their channel, like for the intention of me being a mod, was Laps, because one day someone else in his chat was just like pissing him off. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna mod you, and I want you to time him out every time he talks. And I'm like, say less. And now every single chat, it's not even Laps' chat, just anyone's chat that I see him and I just... Can we get a timeout on this guy?
Sorry.
I'm too power hungry.
Oh shit. What do I do here? Like, I'm sure there's a hawk counter to the shield, but he's just being fucking annoying. Yeah, thanks for sharing that montage. Really, yeah, I guess that's like also one thing I definitely want to do more is just have people from the community on and really try to like not just show or like introduce people to interesting persons or like people in the community. Cause yeah, like the real Joe Rogan experience, but for Elden Ring.
Yeah, man.
Because
yeah.
that's also. Wait, did you just DC? Holy shit!
Oh, disconnect.